Then he crashed back, exploding the water, and in an uproar of bloody foam he disappeared. He would die, not yet, but presently, though his death would not be known for days, not till his stomach, blown with gas, floated him. So people would come to know about the death of this crocodile only after its stomach is blown with gas and the dead body of the crocodile it floats on the surface of water. Then perhaps he would be found upside down among the logs at the timber boom with pus in his eye. Sebia got her arms round the fainting woman and somehow dragged her from the water. She stopped her wounds with sand and bound them with rag, tied them, and helped her home to the Gujar encampment where the men made a litter to carry her to someone for treatment. So look at the courage of this 12-year-old girl. She not only fought the ferocious reptile, but she managed to drag this woman out of the water and reached her safely to the Gujar encampment where the men they made a litter to carry her to someone for treatment. Then Sebia, she goes back for her grass and sickle and fork. The fork was lying in the river, not carried away, luckily, and as she bent to pick it up out of the water, she saw the blue bead. Not blue now, with the sun nearly gone, but a no-color white blue, and its shape wobbling or unsteady in the movement of the stream. She reached her arm down into the yard of the cold silk water to get it. Cold silk water, the smooth flowing water. Missing it first of all because of refraction. There was deflection of light. Then there it lay in a wet palm, perfect, even pierced, ready for use, with the sunset shuffled about inside it like a gold dust. All her heart went up in flames of joy. Flames of joy means she was extremely happy. She was on the seventh cloud. Her joy knew no bound. Remember, girls, she had been aspiring to make a necklace for herself all this time. And she did not have the bead. She did not even have a needle to pierce it. And here she found a perfect blue bead that was not only she found a blue bead, but it was even pierced. It was ready for use. So her joy knew no bounds. She was extremely happy. After a bit, she twisted it into the top of her skirt against her tummy, so she would know if it burst through the poor cloth and fell. So after picking up that blue bead from the water, she very carefully fastens it to her tummy. Then she picks up a fork and sickle and the heavy grass and set off home. Aye, what a day. So it was a very, very lucky day for Sebia because she had found the object of her desire. That is, she found a blue bead that was already pierced, ready for use. Her bare feet smudged out the wriggle mark of snakes in the dust. There was a thin singing of malaria mosquitoes among the trees now. And this tract was much used at night by a Morse old Makna elephant, that is the tuskless one. But Sebia was not thinking of any of them. The stars came out, she noticed. And Sebia, we could just imagine her state of mind. She was excited. Okay, and in that happy state of mind, she forgot the dangers of this tract which she was treading on. Okay, this tract, it was frequented by an old, tuskless, dangerous elephant. But to Sebia, this danger did not matter because she was in a very joyful state of mind, and the only thing that she could think about was the blue bead. On the way back, she met her mother, out of breath. So poor mother, when she reached home, she found that her child is not there with her. So she comes back running in search of her. And literally she is out of breath. Come to look for her and scolding. I did not see till I was home that you were not there. I thought something must have happened to you. And Sebia, bursting with a story, cried, something did. I found a blue bead for my necklace. Look. So just imagine, girls, if it would have been any of us, we would have been so excited to narrate this encounter with the crocodile to our mothers. But here in this case, Sebia, instead of narrating her courageous act to her mother, she is just very casual about it and she is just not bothered at all. And what she tells her mother, yes, something did happen to me. See, I found a blue bead for my necklace. So girls, it's a simple, beautiful and an inspiring story. Okay, and the blue bead, and in the story it deals with the courageous act of a 12-year-old girl, Sibia. And Nora Burke, very beautifully she presents how this girl, she fights a crocodile to save the life of a Gujar woman. And yet we see that when she meets her mother after the brave act, instead of narrating the tale of her bravery, she only talks about the blue bead that she has found. And why do you think she does so? She does it because this brave act, it's a part of her everyday life. Each day of her life is a tale, it's a story of hardship and survival. And each day we see that Sibia, she is fighting poverty. Okay, she's fighting poverty, she's fighting the hardships of life to survive. So when she fights a crocodile, it is not that important to her, but her finding a blue bead is more significant, it is more important to her, as it is something that she has aspired for throughout her life, and how she has accidentally got one, and the joy of getting a blue bead is more to her compared to a fighting crocodile. So it just seems like God, okay, God is always fair and just, girls. So it seems like God has granted her the blue bead because of her brave act of saving the Gujar woman. And Sibia's, we see that Sibia's determination, okay, determination to save this Gujar woman is rewarded with a blue bead which she has aspired for throughout her life. And it's a very